So because we're going to have a very fast-paced 30 minutes here, I want to get started right on time, and you can tell all your friends if they missed the first part of it. The recording will be available. I can send it out to you and all your friends and family. So feel free to do that for them. Please go ahead and stop right now so we don't have any dog barking, dish clanking, all that kind of thing going on in the background. And go ahead and mute yourself. But then I do want you to be ready to unmute yourself as we go through our half hour together so that you can ask these questions. That is the purpose of this evening. So thanks very much for joining me. My name is Joel Suggs. I'm coming to you in a simulated manner from Pebble Beach Golf Club out on the Monterey Peninsula in Pebble Beach, California, somewhere around San Francisco. I've never quite been there myself, but many of my players have, and they tell me it's beautiful. So I'm actually coming to you from my studio, which is in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is about a 15-minute drive away from where the on-course fun will happen here in the central part of Cincinnati, right in the Tri-County area, right around the main belt of Cincinnati, so it'll be convenient for everyone. So tonight the purpose is frequently asked questions, and I would kind of tell you that after teaching golf for 30 years and playing golf seriously for 40 years, I've kind of heard 40 years of frequently asked questions, frequently, over 40 years. I'm a third-generation golf professional. There's been 100 years of golf in our Suggs family. So my grandpa was a golf pro and a greenskeeper, and he built courses. And then his two children ran golf their whole life, my dad and my aunt. And then I'm Southern Ohio's first PGA Master teaching professional. So I really think I can answer a lot of your questions this evening. So feel free again to have them ready, be ready to ask them. And because what I've found quite often in these group settings and many walks of life, people are kind of shy. We're kind of shy to ask the questions. I actually have a plethora of questions already prepared for you that you've probably heard asked or you've asked, but you might not come up with tonight. So we'll get to that quite exhaustive list here in a few moments. But this is all about on-course fun with Joel and friends. This is will be happening at Tri-County Golf Ranch this fall. Next season, it will happen at a number of courses around the greater Cincinnati area that I'll be taking care of and I'll be teaching. So you can look forward to that too. In many cities around the country and actually around the world, people will do this maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times a season where they get some good input on the course from a good golf professional, and they're playing with their friends, they're getting input from a golf professional, and then when they play, they feel much more comfortable playing the game. And so this is a result of a company called Operation 36, which is down in the Triangle area of North Carolina. And as it says here, it's because beginners deserve a better way to learn to play golf. I've actually been doing a lot of these principles for about 20 or 25 years. It's just that a company down in Carolina has kind of put the app together and all this for people like myself to make it all the better for you. And as it says here, step 1 is you want to develop your skills in these lessons that we do. Step 2, you actually play your first 9 holes if you're not already a golfer. And then step 3 is you track your golf journey on this very, very intuitive, very helpful, very descriptive app that the company has put out. And so that's what we're all about this evening. And again, they call it Operation 36. You're mastering the Operation 36 model at your own pace. You play 9 holes from 25 yards. This first evening will be together next Saturday night, October 2nd. And whether you're an experienced golfer, which some of you will be in this class probably, because you're playing with someone that you want to get enjoying the game of golf. So even if you're an experienced golfer, this first night, October 2nd, you'll play from 25 yards from the hole. And most golf holes, this is a bit of a drawing down here at the bottom of our screen, most golf holes are actually about 300 to 400 yards long. So when we're first starting, we hit the ball usually about 20 or 30 or 40 yards. And so when a hole is 400 yards, it's rather repetitive and kind of monotonous and tedious. And it kind of feels like, are we there yet, Dad? kind of a thing, you know, or we're going to Florida here. Where's the green? Where are we supposed to be going here? And then we finish the hole, and then we find out we have 17 more of those to do. And so that's a big part of the reason that a lot of folks get kind of frustrated with golf the very first time they play. But on October 2nd, and a week from now, everyone will play from 25 yards at the Tri-County Golf Ranch. And the goal for everyone is to shoot 36 or better in Operation 36. That's why it's called Operation 36. And then after that first night, if you shoot 36 or better, you move back from Division I to Division II. And then maybe our next night together, October 16th, if you shoot 36 or better from 50 yards, then you move back to 100 yards. So this is what I mean. It's very much at your own pace, which I love. And my students tend to love that. As I said, I've been doing this type of thing for about 30 years, and people just love starting up near the green and gradually working back so they can really get better at golf at their own pace. So, as I said, this night is for frequently asked questions, and we have about another 25 minutes. So, if you have any questions right now, feel free to interrupt and ask them. I don't mind a bit. That's what it's for tonight. But because, like I said, I've found quite often many of us are shy about this. I'm going to I wrote down for you many of the questions I've heard, and maybe some of these you haven't thought of in the past. So what if I don't have golf clubs? I'm going to read these through first. What if I don't have golf clubs or golf balls? What if I've never played before? How do I find out if I'm right-handed or left-handed? What if I cannot make one of the lessons? When do I get to learn how to drive the golf carts? Do I have to wear garish, bright, weird-colored clothes that do not match? That's one of the reasons I like being a golf pro. I get to do that. I get to wear garish, bright, weird-colored clothes that do not match. Can I bring other friends or family? If I'm a little late, will that mess me up and everybody else? Are there any other expenses besides the lesson fee of $119 for the 5 lessons? What if it rains the day of the lesson? How long will I have to walk? How do I make a tee time? Which courses should I play? How much do most courses cost? Who should I play with? And maybe more importantly, who should I not play with? What clothes do I actually wear if I'm not wearing the weird colored ones? How and where do I practice? What's the cost for practice? Can I practice at home? Do I really have to whisper the whole time we're together on the golf course? Do I have to hit the ball into the hole from the tee? And then some people ask from the tree, you know, so that relates to others of us. And then do I really have to play with strangers all the time? And can I play and or practice at any time of the day? And then again, I'm waiting for your other questions as we go through our time together this evening. So what if I don't have golf clubs or golf balls? We will actually loan you golf clubs and golf balls to use during our time together on our Saturday evenings through October and November. And there's a good chance I'm going to be able to let you keep those between the classes as well. So you'll be able to just borrow those clubs and balls for all of October and November to save you that bother and expense and worry of having to get golf clubs. What if I've never played before? That's totally fine. This is exactly designed for all people all the way on the spectrum of this. As I mentioned, Operation 36 has been in existence for a few years now, about 8 years, and I've been aware of them for about 10 years. And they're in all 50 states now, and they're in, I think, about 15 or 16 or 17 foreign countries: South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, Japan. So they're all around the world. So this is designed, and many of the people who play, again, are avid golfers. They're playing with folks who are just starting. So it's a very welcoming kind of a situation that we get to enjoy out there on our Saturday nights. How do I find out if I'm right or left-handed? I will tell you that the first night. If you don't know that already, I will tell you that the first night. I'll have you kind of swing both ways, and I'll give you a real simple answer right here quickly. And you may play that way for 2 months or 6 months or a year, and you find out you really feel better the other way. You can switch. You know, it's better to switch after you've been playing maybe for 2 or 4 or 6 months or a year than switching like 5 years into it. So, and people who switch after 6 months or a year usually do better the other way. What if I cannot make one of the lessons? I'll explain this a little bit later, but I actually have a makeup evening planned for us. And so that'll be no problem if you can't make one of our 4 lessons together here in October, November. We actually have another makeup evening. That'll be no problem at all for you to join that. When do I get to learn how to drive the golf carts? That's a very common question, especially among the kids. So the answer is, yeah, maybe. I might teach all that these first 4 evenings together. I might teach all that. It kind of depends on a lot of variables, but we might actually spend a little time me giving you a lesson on how to drive a golf cart. That might be kind of fun. But you don't have to drive golf carts. I typically walk out of the probably 150 rounds I've been on the golf course this year. I've walked for probably 120 of them. So, but many golf courses require you to actually take a cart. So that's why this is not too much of a tongue-in-cheek question here. You really do need to learn how to drive them because people die with them a few times a year, every year in our nation. So it is actually kind of a humorous and also a serious question. Do I have to wear gear? So that answer is a no. You can wear kind of normal clothes. We'll talk about that in a moment as well. Can I bring other friends or family? That's absolutely. You can bring other friends or family to this. Again, this is almost, well, I'll cover that in a few minutes, but the simple answer there is yes. If I'm a little late, will that mess me up and everybody else? The short answer there is yes. Golfers, avid golfers, are known as being very punctual. And among tournament players, avid amateurs in our area or local professionals like myself or even tour professionals, in our tournaments, if we are late for our tee time, we get a penalty, a fairly stiff penalty. And so golfers, as a rule, avid golfers, are known as being quite punctual. And because the golf course is a shared facility, if you're late, that means people behind you may get pushed back later, or you may not even get on, something like that. So the short answer there is yes. So you really want to strive to be early to all our times together on Saturday nights. But if you are a little late, especially with cell phones nowadays, you can kind of let us know, and quite often we'll be able to make some kind of an adjustment and get you out to where we are on the course and not disturb other people too much. Are there any other expenses besides the lesson fee? That answer is yes. It's $119 for our 4 lessons together, but there's a makeup that you're still invited to, so it's actually 5 lessons for $119 per player for the 5 lessons with me. Tri-County Golf Ranch, it's $11 to play 9 holes. If you're a senior or a junior, and then it's $13 if you're not a senior or junior to play 9 holes, which is a pretty inexpensive golf course for our area. So each evening we're together, we're going to actually be playing 9 holes. So each evening, I will want you to get there and actually go into the pro shop away from the area where we will be on the putting green. But I'll kind of help you get into the pro shop, and you'll say, I'd like to pay a 9-hole green fee. And what a green fee is the normal fee to play the course. So it's like you're paying for the expense of them keeping up the greens. So that's $11 at this Tri-County Golf Ranch that you'll pay each evening to the golf course. And there are no other expenses for that. Now, if, again, we're feeling frisky and maybe by the 3rd or 4th evening together we want to take riding carts, there will be, I think, another $5 or $10 fee for you personally, each of you, if you want to take a riding cart. But I don't know if we'll do that the last couple of weeks. We'll probably just keep walking. It's actually a little simpler to walk, and most people actually start to enjoy the walking more so than the carts. What if it rains the day of the lesson? So what happens there is golfers who have, let's say they're going to play at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday with their friends, and boy, they've seen it's been raining all day Friday, and they look at the forecast, and it looks like it's supposed to rain Saturday morning, but there's a 50-50 chance, but they really want to play. They've been working hard all week. So what avid golfers will do is they will watch the radar Friday, and they'll say, let's keep it on for 10 o'clock Saturday morning, guys, because we really want to play. And everybody goes, yeah. They'll get up at 6 or 7 or 8 in the morning. They'll look at the radar again, and they'll still say, well, it's kind of iffy. let's not cancel it. Let's still hope we can play. So that's what you're going to do on these Saturdays when we have our lessons if the weather's questionable. You'll keep an eye on the radar. You can call me at the phone number I've given you and we'll give you later. You can call me directly, and what I'll do is I'll make a decision usually about an hour before we start. That way you have enough time to drive to Tri-County Golf Ranch and get there in time. And it gives me enough time also to see the rain, see if it's moving away or moving toward us. So if it rains the day of the lesson, there's a good chance we can still do our lesson that evening, but you'll end up watching the radar yourself. And then if it's iffy by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you call me and I make a decision then. I will tell you this, as I said, I'm here in my beautiful studio here near the Tri-County Golf Ranch. This is actually in a portion of our home, this studio. But if it does rain the day of the lesson and we can't really get out on the course, there's a good chance we'll come here to my studio and get some good things done here for your golf game in the studio. How long will I have to walk? As I said, there's a good chance we're definitely not going to take parts the first night, but in the first 2 nights probably. But how long will I have to walk? If you play a regulation golf course, or when you play a regulation golf course that's 18 holes, the average walk is about 6 or 7 miles for those of us who walk the course. So Tri-County Golf Ranch is not an 18-hole regulation course. Tri-County Golf Ranch is a 9-hole course, so that makes it half as long, right? And then the average hole at Tri-County Golf Ranch is about 130 yards. And if you remember when we started tonight, I said the average golf hole is 300 to 400 yards long. So Tri-County Golf Ranch, the holes are much shorter. So I spent a lot of time walking the 9 holes over at Tri-County Golf Ranch early in the mornings last couple of years, and on my little gizmo that I gather yardages from to hit the right club into the holes, it also has a little feature where it tells me how many miles I've gone, and it's a 1.2 mile walk at Tri-County Golf Ranch to play 9 holes. That's how long you'd have to walk. So if that's kind of rough, you want to give me a call, see if maybe a cart might be it for you. If it's nothing for you, it'll be a lot of fun. So when you do get to start playing golf, good question is, how do I make a tee time? As I said, let's say avid golfers have been working hard all week. They want to play at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. They will make that tee time at most public courses about a week in advance. And you do it by calling the course that you want to play and telling them, I'd like to make a tee time to play at 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon. That's all you have to do. Usually they take your name. Very few courses require anything more than your name and phone number. There are a few public courses that are starting to require a credit card or something like that, or an email where you actually have to get online. But most courses in the Cincinnati area nowadays just allow you to call, give them your name and phone number, and that's how you make a tee time. Which courses should I play? As I mentioned, Tri-County Golf Ranch is a much more smaller scale golf course than the typical regulation course. If you've heard anything about golf in the greater Cincinnati area through your lifetime, you've probably heard of public courses like Winton Woods, Sharon Woods, Glenview, Reeves, California, Miami Whitewater, Newman. All of those are regulation courses. If you're one of the people that is coming to our on-course fun here at Tri-County Golf Ranch who has played around town, you've already heard of those courses. But if you're one of the folks who tends to come to our on-course fun at Tri-County Golf Ranch with me starting next Saturday, and you're just starting the game, I'm going to say for right now, you would not play those bigger courses. You would play a course more like Tri-County Golf Ranch or Fairfield Greens North or Reeves Par 3 or Little Miami Par 3 or Robin's Nest. All these courses I've just mentioned are spread out around the metropolitan area, World of Golf over in Florence. So all these courses are smaller courses like Tri-County Golf Ranch. Those are the courses that you'll enjoy playing more, and for many different reasons. And how much do most courses cost? That's indeed one of the reasons I would say you'd enjoy the shorter courses. They tend to cost less. The average greens fee for just walking those courses I just mentioned is probably about $20. If you ride, it's usually about 30 or 35 bucks, your expense, to play those 18-hole regulation big courses. But if you play the courses I just mentioned that are shorter, Fairfield Greens North, Reeves Par 3, Tri-County Golf Ranch, Mason Golf Center Academy course, Robin's Nest and Harrison, Little Miami Golf Center in Newtown, those courses are going to be about $8 or $10 or $12 to play. So you see it's quite a big difference. Who should I play with and who should I not play with? So that's a good little laugh. And we'll talk about that more personally our first night, October 2nd. So there are people that I love to play golf with, and like everything in life, there's certain other people you just don't enjoy their company as much. I'm sure there's certain people that do not enjoy playing with me, and other people that do enjoy playing with me. So a lot of it really has to do with personality. Husbands and wives quite often are like oil and water on the golf course. They do not match very well at all. I would say for about 60% of men golfers, they don't enjoy playing with their wife, and their wife enjoys playing with the husband even less. All right, because the husband tends to kind of tell the wife what to do. So as I mentioned, though, that's about 60% of the married couples. That means 40% have some level of enjoying playing golf together. Many of the gentlemen I know who've been married a good long time, who've played golf a good long time, they kind of play with their friends once or twice or 3 times a week or once a month, whatever it is. But then they have a set schedule for their wife. They say, yeah, my wife and I play every Sunday night, 9 holes, and we love it. And both of them agree if we played with each other any more than that, we would not enjoy it, you know, something like that. Or maybe, and then we go on trips occasionally. We love playing on Sunday nights every week, 9 holes, and then we love going to Florida, you know, the 3rd week in January every year. So that's just one example of husbands and wives. And then there are coworkers, there are cousins, there are friends from school, you know, all these, you know, friends coming in from out of town, they're coming in for a football game. Should I play golf with them or not? All those are very good questions about who you should play with and who you should not. And this is one of the reasons that I like the on-course idea in our lessons. You can begin to understand, boy, everybody's at a different level. Some people understand etiquette better than others. So you'll see that as we get together here next Saturday night. What clothes do I wear? Again, you want to be ready for the weather. I'll tell you that much. Not aside from style, you want to be ready for the weather. So if it's cold, bundle up. It was 45 degrees this morning when I got to Tri-County Golf Ranch at 7:15 to play my rounds. So I was much more bundled up than I was about a week and a half ago when it was 85 or 90. So be ready for the weather. That's the main thing I'll tell you. And you wear gym shoes. If you don't have golf shoes right now, that's fine. Just wear normal gym shoes. Do not wear the spiked kind of soccer cleats, though. Those will actually damage the greens. So you wear smooth-soled gym shoe type shoes. How and where do I practice? I would tell you that's going to be a lot like the golf courses I mentioned to you. That there's a kind of a wide gamut of golf courses in terms of expense and difficulty, and how and where you practice. Again, you'll find that certain other places in town are more expensive than others. Certain ones around town are actually open in the evening. Certain ones are just open in the daytime. So driving ranges is what the main practice place people go to practice. It's called a driving range. What's the cost for practice? The lowest price bucket of golf balls that you would rent at a golf range in Cincinnati is probably about $4 or $5 for a small bucket of balls. If you get a big bucket of balls, it might be up around $10 or $12 or $14. And can you practice at home? That's an absolute yes, and that's a big deal. As I mentioned, I actually have this studio in a portion of our home, and I have many gentlemen and ladies who are my students that actually take lessons with me here, obviously, but they also actually come here to practice. So you can practice in your home. I've actually helped other students of mine set this kind of a thing up in their home. But in addition to that, just putting on the carpet at home or hitting small shots in your backyard on the grass can help your game tremendously. It's amazing how much people improve when they've gotten good at that practice at home. Do I really have to whisper the whole time? No, you don't. You know, we'll tell you if you're being loud. Do I have to hit the ball into the hole from the tee? No. A lot of people have the impression that in putt-putt, you know, you have to get in, you're supposed to get it in the hole in one shot. And so people see a 300 or 400-yard hole, and they first think, man, I'm supposed to get in the hole on this first shot. No, you don't have to do that. And if you are in the trees, those of us who play a lot, we know we have to hit it from the trees, but we rarely hit it in the hole from the trees. Do you really have to play with strangers? That is a great question, because that's another thing that quite often gets people upset the first time they play. It's like, man, I went to play with my dad. We were going to have a good time, but they paired us up with these two young kids that were whatever. They were rowdy, and they had their hats on backwards, and man, it turned into a miserable day, so I don't want to play golf anymore. So you will actually have to play with strangers sometimes, but again, I'll give you some tips on how to avoid that rather uncomfortable situation. Other times, I can tell you, myself and all the other avid golfers, they've joined up with strangers, we've joined up with strangers, and we've become fast friends for life sometimes. Can I play in or practice at any time of day? As I mentioned, the answer is basically yes. Most ranges open about 8 or 9 in the morning. They're open till dark, and there are even some in town that have lights. So let me ask you, we have about 5 or 6 more minutes. Any other questions that come to mind about golf in general, or about the lessons that start in 8 days? All right. I assume everybody knows how to do the Zoom question thing where you simply unmute yourself. So,
yeah, I had a question.
Joel and friends. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So we're going to be playing on the course, or are you also going to do like a little clinic beforehand?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly what I'll be doing. Because, again, I expect many of us in this group to not be ever have played before at all. I'm going to give you the basics there on the putting green. There's a practice putting green right next to the pro shop there at Tri-County Golf Ranch. And I'm going to give you the first night from 25 yards. We're going to be pretty close. And so I've found in my 30 years of teaching that even the people who've never played before can actually make progress, get it in the hole the first night. So yeah, I'm going to give you little tips for 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning of the first evening to how we do that. And then the second evening, we'll probably spend 10 to 30 minutes on a little kind of clinic before we go out onto the course. So each night, yeah, there'll be a little bit of a clinic for anywhere from 15 minutes to half an hour. That's a good question. Any other good questions now come to mind? All right, so here we are. On-course fun with Joel and friends. October, November, our tee time will be 5 o'clock. We may move it back a little earlier when it gets a little darker. There are every other Saturday night dates. There's the makeup. So again, let's say you're going to be out of town on the 16th or something like that. You can have the makeup there. And I will tell you right now, if you still can make all 4 of them, you're welcome to come to the makeup evening. I don't mind that a bit. So you actually get 5 lessons. Again, the whole idea is mastering the Operation 36 model at your own pace. You play the first night, everybody, no matter your level, you play from 25 yards, you shoot par better. Then if you shoot par better, you go back to Division 2. And then as time goes by, you just keep going back. And again, it's at your own pace. If it takes you 2 years to get to Division 2 or 3 and you're enjoying golf, then I'm happy for you. If it takes you just 3 weeks, 3 of our sessions together to get back all the way to Division 3, then I'm happy for you there too. It's $119 for those 4 lessons. And again, there's that $11 green fee, course fee that you pay each night to the Tri-County Golf Ranch. So, thanks so much for joining me. We're about at the end of our time. So I hope this has been very informational. And I will send those flyers that we've looked at this evening. I've sent them to some of you already, and they seem to be pretty self-explanatory. Everybody seems to understand them pretty well. But I'll send them to you, and again, you can copy them, send them to your friends as attachments in those emails or on social media to let everybody know about it, because again, everyone's invited. Everyone can play together like this in a very good situation. One last call for any other questions. If you want to unmute yourself, you can ask another quick question before we go.
The app that you mentioned, is that something, does that come with the cost of the cost of the lessons?
Yes, indeed. What happens is that app is free during your 8 weeks in the lesson with me. And then there's an annual fee. It'll be $49 for the year. You get to keep it all year. Even if you never take any more lessons with me, I'll still be able to monitor your progress on the app. And you can still feel free to call me, ask questions, because I'm going to see your progress every time you log into the app and you indicate how you practiced and how you played, your scores. I'll still kind of know your progress as you go through the year, and I'll enjoy keeping in touch with you about that, even if you're not taking any more formal lessons with me. But during the 8 weeks we're together, there's no charge for you to have that app.
So we can use the app on the weeks that we're not
Indeed.
having.
Yeah,
Oh,
once
okay.
you get in the app this first night, you'll be able to use that for the rest of your life if you want to. Yep. That's a good question.
I have a question. Can
Yes,
you put up
ma'am.
those dates again of the 4 times and the makeup? Those dates, that screen is gone now. What were those dates again?
It's every other Saturday night.
Okay. So, 16th, the 2nd, the 30th, and November 13th, and then November 6th is the makeup.
Yes, indeed. And like I said, we'll start about 5. Like I said, you don't want to be late, you know, so you want to kind of plan on getting there about 4:30 or 4:45, just to make sure you have your clubs together. If I'm loaning you clubs, you know, it'll take me a few minutes to get those in everybody's hands, loaning you golf balls. So if the tee time's 5 p.m., you want to get to a course usually about a half hour before that. It's the same thing for our lessons together.
Like you said, if it's too cold or yucky or whatever, we could do the indoor.
We will improvise, yep. Those are good questions. Any other good thoughts or questions?
If we want to do it, we would just either email you, call you, whatever.
Yes, and I can send you a PayPal link. That's how most people pre-register.
Okay.
$119 per person. And again, the pre-registration is required. All right. Well, the sun, I think, is slowly setting in the west over the Carmel Bay here in off the Monterey Peninsula. So I think it must be time for all good golfers to get their rest. And wannabe golfers, future golfers. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk to you soon. Good evening.
All right. Bye.
Bye.